I think we are live. Let's see. Sorry, again I had technical problems. But yeah, it's the second day we do this together, so I'm still learning things about the streaming. Yes, we are live. Okay, perfect. Hello. Let me do a few things. I'm going to switch on the lights here. It's quite dark. Yes, something like that. Yeah, today you should see an improvement on the lighting part. Thing is much more bright, right? And I was wondering if I wanted to paint with gouache or watercolors today. I wanted to paint with gouache, but if I paint with gouache, I wanted to use this Stay Wet palette, and yeah, I think it will be too much, especially because we don't have a lot of space here today. So yeah, we will do it this way. You see, only only the Stay Wet palette would fit into the table, so it's a bit weird. Yeah. Okay, so I think I would need to move the light there on the left side of the camera, which is here. We will see. Also, let me see if, yeah. Please let me know if you can hear everything well, if you can see everything correctly, nothing weird around. Today I have here 2 jars with water. I want to start using the dirty water, clean water technique. We have here some paper to test our palettes. What else? I have my brushes here. So yeah, at the end I think we will go with watercolors. But for the next mountain, I think I will definitely go with gouache, and I will prepare it beforehand. So let's open our mountain sketchbook. I mean, this is not really a mountain sketchbook, but I'm using it a lot for the mountain project, so it has good quality paper. It's Arches paper, so I'm really enjoying it. Let's try to put this here. I need to figure out also the autofocus thing in my camera. We will figure out things as we go. It's impossible with so many things to take into account, but everything is perfect. So is my camera tilted? Okay, so here you can see it here. It's a bit weird, but all right. Okay, so let's take the watercolor palette. I will take my watercolor studio palette. I've been painting today, as you can see. So it's quite dirty, but we'll clean it up later maybe. I always like to start with a clean palette. I don't always do that, but yeah, I used to clean it before I start. But let's maybe clean it up a little bit. So, how is your weekend? How was your weekend? Today is Monday. And now I really like Mondays because I paint a lot. I've been painting before, not mountains, but I've been painting forest scene, an autumn forest scene. So everything is orange and some blue muted color as well. I don't have the comments so easily as last time we streamed together. I thought it was a bit weird to have them on the screen, but I don't know. Maybe I can check if I add them at other point in time. Okay, so I put on the image you can see two different photographs of the same place. We are painting today Zanghye Danxia Geopark, which is in China. It's a it's a geological park in which mountains are very colorful, as you can see in the picture. We have colors like orangey red tones, and I think they are interesting. I've never seen these ones. I already knew about the ones that are in Peru. There is one place in Peru which is called Rainbow Mountain, and yeah, those ones I knew about them, but I've never been there. And then when I was investigating and looking for more mountains to paint, I saw this existed as well. Hello, Julie. Everything is okay. Thank you very much for letting me know. Yeah, as you see, I have a bit of delay with the chat, but I'll try to reply you as fast as I can. Okay. Yes, now I have a pop-out chat. That is useful. Okay, then I will read it. I will read you more easily. Cool. So, why I took this part of the sketchbook, because I always like to do a warm-up exercise to draw a bit or paint a bit, choose the color palette, etc. I think this is a very special mountain. I really like that it's so colorful, but also I think it will be challenging, to get those lines. As you can see, I put two photos. One of them is the one I posted on my on my profile and on the community. The one at the bottom is the one that I posted, and I really like that photo because you can see really the different lines, so the different colors the mountain has. I think those are like different kinds of ochre and greenish, yeah, yellowish, orangey colors. Mm. I'm, I'm having a cup of tea, herbal tea, and it's very dangerously close to my water jars, so I don't know how much time it will take until I mistake them. But you know what? We are here to play. I risk it. I'll risk it. So yeah, I'm going to, yes, like this is better. So yes, why did I put these two photos now? It's because I wanted to show you how the mountain is, like the form of the mountain. What we will do is this peak there, like this. Because in the photo I posted in the community, you can see it's like a section of the photo. So anyway, both photos are like copyright free, but keep in mind this means you can use them only for personal use. And we're only here checking those images to get inspiration for the colors and the forms and yeah, everything we see. And you don't really copy the image as it is. So I lost my chat. 1 second. So where are you from? Tell me, are you painting today as well with me, or you're just watching the video? Okay, so today we will start with some small sketches as well, and I want to first test the colors here before doing the bigger painting, because I'm not 100% sure. I want to test the palette a bit. The good news for this is like the composition. It's very simple. So let me draw some rectangles here. We'll put some landscape rectangles. I usually prefer to paint on landscape format. Probably you have already noticed that. And I want to leave quite some space here because probably I will be testing here some colors. So I will do the same for the bottom part. I want some space at the bottom. And usually this side of the paper doesn't give great results. I know it sounds weird that paper has a correct side, and a reverse side, watercolor paper especially, but I've noticed that it does. Indeed, Arches paper, you can notice the difference between painting on the correct side or the other side. So the good thing about this mountain is that the composition, the painting is very easy, the drawing. Let me check it out. Yeah, so mainly we will try just to divide our paper in 3 as we learn in the composition tips guide I created. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go to my community. It's free. You can download the guide from there. Okay, so yes, we will just try to use the rule of thirds from my composition guide, and then from here we will just place the peak at one of these 4 intersections. So choose whatever you want. I will choose this one. So this mountain is quite easy, at least the silhouette of the mountain is quite easy. And I will do more or less the same here, because what I want to test here is not the composition really, it's more the color palette. So having done that, I had another eraser that worked better for this tiny painting. Yeah, I have this eraser which broke. I don't know how, but broke recently. So I will use either the side of one of these, or I have this pencil eraser. I don't know how this is called, but you can see the eraser is very small, and you can then next to the pencil lines you want to keep, you can use this one instead of the big one. So you are more precise with what you erase. And I didn't forget that last time you mentioned some watercolor pencil to make your drawings. I think that's an awesome idea. It's a great idea. When you draw anything. Okay, I erased all the lines, but at the end we want to do more kind of relief, volume here on this mountain. So you can see here that apart from this peak, there is like a kind of small peak here, I would say. There's like a kind of peak there. And that's where you see the colors like go through like this. And yeah, I think it's higher. So I will do it like this. The only thing I'm trying here is that if one peak is on the right side here, the other peak is here, you know, like to compensate a bit. And then we'll see here what else we do. Apart from that, I see the photograph. Yeah, this goes like this, and then I see kind of volume there and also there. And why volume is important? Because the volume is telling us where the lines start. You see here we see some lines going down and going this direction, and the same here. We have some lines, color lines that go in one direction or another. Then here it's quite simple, it's just orange, but on the part where we have some volume, where we see some of the lines, the color lines. I truly don't know how this is going to turn out. I think it's not going to be an easy mountain, even if it's colorful. I'm unsure on how to approach it, but we can manage. So what I did for now is that I put here another small like peak, and I joined these two peaks to make like here two zones for two zones of volume to then paint the lines. Then here this will be more or less like this. The good thing here is that we can be as creative as we want on the color lines. We don't need to be really specific with them. Okay, so I'm going to try to draw the same, more or less the same drawing. I hope you can see it right. If not, let me zoom in a bit. You can see it there. I'm basically going to do the same drawing down here because at the end, I really like how this turned out. I don't know about you, but surprisingly, we managed to give it some sense to all those volumes. And by the way, I'm focusing more on the image that is right below me and not the one at the bottom. But just for the volumes, and then for the colors, I want to reference the one at the bottom of the video. And this is something you can do always, and I really encourage you to do. And this is to create your own reference images by mixing 2 or 3, you know, like to really not use just one reference image, but use several ones. Also, that makes it more personal, like your work, and you're not copying any people's photo or anything. You're really just making it up as um, as you want to make it up. So yeah, it will not be exactly the same drawing, but I'm happy if it's similar enough. And the good thing about this mountain is that as long as the volumes are more or less fine, it doesn't need to make a lot of sense. Like the lines you put doesn't matter so much, it's really how we paint those lines. And also the lines that we are painting help a lot telling the volume that the mountain has, you know? Like these lines are helping us say, here's this peak, let's say this elevated part. So yes, don't be afraid. Okay, now that we have our drawings more or less, I've only done two. I think it will be enough just to test a couple of color palettes. If we see we need more, we will create more. So let me zoom out. No, out. Yes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to put here on the side different color palettes. So different kinds of reds, oranges, greens, etc. I do want to use maximum 5 colors. I think that's a quite good amount of colors we can have here. I think in general, having a small amount of colors and a small palette, color palette, it helps very much um, with the palette being cohesive and the artwork be really harmonized, like color wise. So let me spray my paints a little bit. Okay. Let me check. Yes. Good. So let me know if this is too far away for you, okay? I can zoom in a little bit. Okay, so now that we are here, I'm going to mix my favorite kind of orange. Honestly, my favorite orange is burned on orange, and I have it here, I think. I have it here, and I think it could be perfect for this artwork. It's this one. Let's do something. I don't have it in my studio palette, but let's use it in one of the palettes. Okay, so for sure for the sky, I know already which color I will be using. I love to use for skies cobalt blue. Cobalt blue is one of my favorite blues for skies or sea colors, etc., but especially skies. And I usually mix it with a little bit of phthalo turquoise or like aquamarine. It depends, but yeah. Here in my palette, I have cobalt blue in my plein painting palette. I have cobalt blue, and this one is teal or aquamarine from Simone, if I'm not wrong. Okay, I don't know which one it is, but I can check later. But yes, it's an aquamarine color from Simone. And then I mix this one because this one is very, 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 very aquamarine-like. I will show you here how it looks like. This one is quite aquamarine. I even see the video is not capturing it as blue, it's capturing it as really green. What? It's a completely different color. Okay, I will need to check my settings regarding white balance for the next video, live session or whatever. And then here I have the cobalt blue. This one is much more warm for sure. So I know that orange and blue are opposite in the chromatic circle. So I will use them both in my painting because this will make us have contrast. So as you can see here, this is a color wheel, and then we know that orange and blue are opposite, so they are complementary colors. And here in this image we have exactly that. We have blue sky contrasting with orangey colors, mountain. So I think this is a great combination we will have in this painting. Okay, so let's take a bit of this burnt orange. It's quite dark, and then I'm just putting a bit of this color into my palette. I think it will be too dark. Maybe for the shadows of the mountain is not so bad, but I'm not sure for the whole mountain it's a bit too dark. But okay, I think I will mix this orange with some yellow. I'm using Indian yellow here. I need to make it more lighter, let's say. Yes. I still feel the mountain has more reddish tone, you know? So it's a little bit of purple red. I have this purple red, but I never use it, honestly. Never ever. And I'm noticing that this orange is too vibrant for the color of a mountain, and too vibrant in general. So maybe if we are painting an orange, yes, you can use this kind of orange. But in this case, I think we'll need to use a little bit of blue to make it more neutral. So how do you make a neutral color? How do you neutralize a color? And this is by using a little bit of its complementary color. You will see that this orange is getting a bit dirty, so the color is much less vibrant. It's more ochre, more organic color, more true to the colors we see in nature, let's say. It depends really, because an orange is really bright, so, but yeah, more true to the colors I see for this mountain, for example. Okay, I see some kind of pale green. I don't know if you see it, but if you look at the photograph at the bottom of the video, you'll see some hints of pale green. And this pale green for me doesn't look like really warm color. It looks more like a pale cool green, let's say. So I'm trying to mix a bit of sap green. I mixed also a bit of phthalo green, sorry, with one of my opaque colors, which is lavender from Holbein. And the good thing about Holbein lavender is that it makes your color quite pastel because it has white watercolor in the mix. So I really like it when we need to make some pastel color. If you don't have such a tone, such a color, you can also use white gouache if you don't have such a lavender tone in your palette. I think I can make it more true to the colors I see in the on the landscape. Yeah, I think this one is more the color. Yeah, this one is much more the color I see on the photograph. Okay, so having said that, let me try the favorite ones. So for example, I will try this one. This one I really like as well. This one I will use it for the sky. And then I need to use a red tone. And I don't know if I should use this one. I think I will use this one or a, yeah, combination of this and these two maybe. So let's try with those tones. If we are not convinced, we can always try other ones in the second painting. So I'm wetting the sky. I really like to paint wet and wet. Even if the sky, you see that in the sky we don't need really to paint wet and wet because it's a quite uniform sky without clouds. Today I don't know how to talk while I'm painting. It's because it's Monday or what? Okay, so I will, with my cerulean blue, I will make some brush strokes here. I will maybe make some small clouds here and there. But keep in mind that we are interested in having as much of the blue as possible next to the mountain. Also, skies are darker at the top. This gives a bit of depth. I mean, you don't need to really do this in the thumbnail, but I really like to review this with myself when I'm painting, even if it's a thumbnail, but it's like, hey, remember this for later and this, and then probably it will be much more clear then. I wanted to erase a bit these lines, I forgot. I forget many times to erase my lines, by the way. I'm going to use this needle eraser. I don't use it very much. I don't really like needle erasers. I mean, I don't care about them very much, honestly. It's not that I don't like them. But they are fine. I mean, I don't think they are the best erasers ever. But here, because I cannot start doing like this, because this part is humid, I think it's a good use for a needed eraser. Of course, not all the lines will go away, and I don't want that either because I want to remember the drawing I made. Okay, that's enough for me. Probably you don't see anything right now. Let's make it, yes. How about that? So let me check how are you doing in the comments. Everything looks fine. Yes. Okay. Looks like everything's fine on your side. Okay, so now I will start probably with the yellow one. Okay, with the yellow part. I will take this yellow. I want this yellow but a bit less concentrated, so lighter version of this yellow. I'm going to be a bit careful and I will cover only this part, although this part is more reddish, so I will add a bit of yellow like this, but I will add also the red. So it's not red, it's really dark orange. So yeah, make sure the colors blend without any problem. Then I'm not sure what I'm doing, honestly. I'm just trying things because this is a thumbnail, so don't worry if you try things and they don't work out. I'm trying to make some of the lines in the red color. Sorry for the autofocus. I really need to change that. I don't know how to do that right now. But for the next stream, I promise I'll be fixing that. Then let's make another line here up, and then I'll do some of the lines darker and bigger, like thicker, and some of the lines will be thinner. The same here. But what I'm noticing here is that some of the lines are just white. So not pure white, but more like a beige color. So I'm not sure if this is the most intelligent way of painting this, but let's try it out. And I started with the background mountain. Now in between I want to add the yellow. This part I think it's easier. I see that most of the parts are kind of ochre color. You can wait for this to dry a little bit. That is what I'm going to do indeed. I think the rest of them I will either leave them not white but really light color, like if you have how it's called, this color, I had it on my palette before. Titanium buff titanium. If you have buff titanium, you can use that one instead of this white. If not, I'm thinking of using just water or a yellow ochre raw sienna kind of color. Okay, I wanted to try already. Okay, I will start with some green here. I also want to have some contrast, and we know that this green is like the lightest color of the mountains that we see here. So if you put it first, it's not a problem, like the first color, I mean, because with with the orange one, you will be able to cover it very easily. I don't know if I'm convinced about this, honestly, about how we are painting them. What do you think? I'm just adding now the green. Remember to leave some space for the... Okay. It's such a fun drawing, honestly. I'm liking it very much. But on the other side, I also think, this is very weird. Maybe the best approach is to start with the white, sorry, with the white parts, yellow parts, and green parts, and then just add a bit of orange everywhere here and there. You know what I mean? Also, we have the challenge here to show a bit um, that this is the background mountain. This is a foreground one. I mean, it's not technically foreground and background, but maybe we can use that to our favor. Okay, we're just doing a small test of the colors. So also, for sure, here we don't have so much space to do things than here later on the bigger painting. But I really love starting with these small paintings. I love that. I'm adding here a bit more color because on the photograph I see here there's more color, and now I will try to blend it out a bit more. Okay. Okay, let's try here some more of this. What do you think? Is it being very weird? The colors I'm using? And also, if you are painting too, what do you think? I see there are some parts that are really like full or almost full red, you know? And I don't want to miss those parts. For example, this part, I will make it fully, almost fully orange, reddish orange. I'm not mad at it. I'm really not mad at it. I mean, I think the photograph is more calm. I mean, it has more white space. Not white, but ochre space. And yeah, we didn't try to represent exactly that mountain here. But I think the colors are not so bad. Okay, let's do something else. We'll need a dark green for those kind of trees. So what I will do is I will mix the orange I had before. If you are using an orange that is directly out of the tube, remember to use a little bit of blue to break it down, to bring the color down, make a more neutral tone if you want, for sure. I mean, this is just a suggestion, but I think it's really useful to bring it down a little bit. And then now I'm mixing a very, very dark brown. When mixing this brown, I try to use the colors I already have in my palette. For example, the orange I already had, and also the blue that I already had, because the mixes will be more harmonized if we use the colors that are already there. So the new colors we mix will be I'm doing small points, little points here and there just to show a bit. We have kind of trees or plants there in this side of the mountain. As you can see, this is a dark brown, but when I'm putting the points, I'm trying to drag in down the color because I don't want it to be too dark because it will distract people. I'm sorry, but I don't want it to be too light anyway. I've been talking too much today. So what do you think? What do you think we can learn from this one? For me, I think we can learn to have less colors because maybe it will be too distracting, right? Like maybe having more areas that we will leave just yellow or just orange, like in the photograph. But okay, I'm not so mad at it. For me, the only thing that's left maybe here, just to try it out before we try it in the bigger painting, is to take the a small, very small pencil brush and with really dense paint, so really, really not diluted at all, really dense paint to give more protagonism to the foreground, let's say to the mountains that are here more than on the background, you know what I mean? This also adds another dimension and more depth because you're adding, even if this is like a really shadow color or yeah, accent color, I would say, you're adding a new color that it's more, it's darker at the end. and then it combines very well with the lighter one that you put before. I'm really trying to be very loose with the lines. I don't want them to look like straight lines. I want them to look like organic, wobbly lines. Yeah. Okay. And I think this may be a good idea in the big painting because I'm seeing this part pop up a lot compared to the other part, to the background, and therefore this helps us bring the attention more to this first mountain than to the other one. So yes, for me I think this will be useful in the bigger painting. That's what we are trying to do here, just trying to test things out to see if we will use them the other painting or not. Okay, just I will add a little bit more of yellow here because I think I'm missing a bit the yellow. Or more intense yellow here and there. Okay. Okay. So, test number 1, done. Not so bad, the colors are not very weird or not for me. I think the colors are fine. Maybe now I would try with this color I have here. I'm not sure if it's yellow ochre, I think. 1 second. Yeah, it's here. It's, yes, yellow ochre. This one. I will try to use this one instead of the yellow one that I created before. They are quite similar, but not the same. This one is less yellow at the end. It's more brownish. So I really like it for this case. Yeah. It's really weird how the colors are seen on camera. So let me try again this to erase with the needed eraser some of the lines here. Okay. And now I think the cobalt blue for the sky was good enough, so I won't use the same. I will use cobalt blue as well. I think I will try the sky without any cloud, so really a smooth blue clear sky. Just to make the mountain pop a little bit more. There's something I've learned recently, and that is before when I used to paint wet and wet, what I did is I put a lot of water now, like on the paper, like I just did, and then I dilute a lot the paint I'm going to paint with over this wet paper, and that's not good because you lose all the pigment. If you put a lot of water on the paper and then you put a lot of water on the paint itself, you lose the pigment. So now what I do instead is I put some water on the paper, but then my paint is much less diluted. My paint is much more dense because the water that is on the paper will already dilute it, you know. Yes, I try to do that now. Okay, so clear blue sky. Clear blue sky. I don't find. Ah, yeah, it's here. Let's do something else right now. Let's change the approach completely. Let's make the whole mountain yellow, like kind of yellow, yellowish, yellowish. I'm wondering if the colors can be seen like this in real life, or if they are really, really, really highlighted with Photoshop, you know, in these photos, I mean. I would really like to see these colors in real life. So the whole mountain, I will paint it like yellow ochre this time. As we said, we are going to test this other yellow color. And yeah, for sure my sky didn't finish drying, etc. But we are on a thumbnail, so I don't really care. I wonder if I can fix the color balance, because this is not what I see on the camera. It's nothing to do with what I see in real life. Can I? I don't know, but I will look into it for the next session. Ah, I didn't know this was really. Oops, sorry. Okay. Now when it's still a little bit wet, I will add the oranges. I see that this part is more orange, so I will directly add more orange here and there. I leave some open spaces to add a bit of white or yellowish tone later. And I'm doing very loose this background part, and don't hesitate to take a smaller brush for this. And what I'm seeing is that these lines we made, like vertical lines, are not in the mountain, except for here. There's one small line there, and not really much here. And I'm doing this wet and wet, so it's like background thing. Also, I will change a little bit my thread by adding a bit of let's call here a bit of pearly maroon, so more of a maroon color, because at the end I also have shadows and highlights in this color, right? So I would expect to have different shades of the same color. I'm sorry if I'm too focused on this. Okay, now what I will do is I will use some yellow, but more yellowish, really yellowish. Oops, too yellowish. I want to give the impression that there are more yellowish tones in some parts by adding a mix of the yellow and the orange I had before. I'm thinking, what if we put some lemon yellow here? It really pops with the lemon yellow, which is, I think, what happens in the photo at the end, that the yellow really pops. And with the yellow I was using, I was not really making it pop, maybe. Okay. And now I will add some green. And yes, I'm the kind of person who spends a lot of time on the thumbnail, as you can see. But I really like it. Now I'm using a bit more, less muted, let's say, green. It's a bit more pastel color than what you see on the camera. I think it would be a good addition. I think the green parts are not so visible in the painting, I mean the photograph. So it's really because I like that there are some touches, some green touches here and there. Okay, so let's leave that background part like that, more blurry, less defined. And now let's go for the foreground. In the foreground I want more definition, I want more everything. So I'm sorry, I'm okay. Okay. And here we will start adding some yellow. Now I will start adding some of the red, but much more defined. The idea here is that you can see somehow the lines. And yes, I think the green lines are very subtle. And you don't see them always, only small parts, green parts. So what are you thinking? What are your thoughts on this second try? This is not finished still, of course. I'm trying to add more definition again to the first back to the foreground. So I don't think I changed a lot of things from the first thumbnail to the second thumbnail. I usually go more crazy and I try crazier things because that's the purpose of the thumbnail, right? To try weird colors and weird combinations. And today I didn't try that many. That's fine too, but I think we can push further the mountain that is here. I think we can really push further that mountain. So we have that effect of first foreground and second foreground or something like that. Vale. Let's do more lines. 1 second. I want like a yellow line. But yeah, the problem with the yellow line is that they can be confused with the orange ones because this yellow is quite orange. Okay, I don't know. What do you think? I think I like this one more. This more on the background, less clear lines, some colors still, but the lines come here really like the color lines come in the foreground. So I think that even if we didn't went crazy with the thumbnail, I think we still learned something here. Okay, so for me that's nice. Let's pass this into a new painting, a bigger one, and also I wanted to make the sky like the first one. So here I learned that the sky, I really like this one, this sky, this background, foreground situation. And the colors were quite clear since the beginning. So this is still drying, we will see later. I don't think they are the exact colors I would use, but they're not so bad. So how are you doing? Is this being too hard? What do you think? Is this mountain too difficult to paint? I think this is one of the most challenging ones I've painted, that's for sure. Okay, I will use some tape because I love the crisp white frame around the paintings. That makes my paintings feel more finished, if I find the words today. It's something easy that you can do that will make your paintings feel more finished. And I will not use the whole page. I think this line is quite cooked, right? 1 second. Let's fix it before we commit to it. This much better. Okay. Yes, this can be The mountains I chose for this first month feel very autumn-like mountains. I think my subconsciousness did it on purpose because my mind was screaming, okay, we will be painting a lot of mountains, but it's still fall and autumn, and I still want to paint autumn-like things. Let me check the comments because it's been a while since I read them. Okay, everything looks fine. If you have anything, any question, any difficulty, anything that you'd like to have help with, or I don't know, just mention, feel free to do it. Now I'm going to focus on this. I'm sorry you will not see the thumbnails anymore, but luckily you will see your own thumbnails, so I think that should be fine. Is the light enough? One second, because I can quickly add more light. Yeah, my light is controlled with the mobile phone. Here. Oh, too bright, I would say. Okay, looks good. So again, same thing. I will try to do like thirds, kind of full of thirds again. More or less, honestly. More or less. I already see this rectangle I draw for myself is more squared than this one, but that's fine. So if I decide to put the peak on that intersection, then here okay, 1 second, because I don't like very much this. I think yeah, something like this looks better. Of course, from your thumbnails, the proportions will be a bit different than for the final painting, because we are not measuring like the relation between the wide part here and the tall part related to the thumbnail we did, but it's more or less, it's a rough estimation of what we did already. And now let me erase the rule of thirds. You should do the same. I forget most of the times to erase the lines for the painting, so I should really buy a watercolor graphite pencil, like water soluble graphite pencil, because the water will help me when I forget. Okay, I want this peak to be less prominent, and I think that is fine. Okay, I'm trying to make sure the lines of the washi tape are stick enough so water doesn't go under the washi tape. And now let's help ourselves by making some of the lines in which we are going to I'm thinking of adding more complications there, or even something like that. because here we said okay, I think I'm adding one more mountain in between to add more entropy. If the entropy we had was not enough, I'm adding more. Oh my god. Okay, then here they will go like this. Here nothing, only that. Okay, and then here what? If you're having a hard time imagining your lines, just check the reference photo and follow with that more or less. Okay, so let's do this again. Let's erase most of the lines. Okay, and let's go back to it. We are already experts in painting this mountain. Why? Because we have done that already 2 times. So now this 3rd time should be much easier. Don't you think? Okay, so let's go for the sky, which is the easiest thing to start with. The easiest part of the painting, at least for me. I'm wetting the paper quite well. And yes, I know this live session should be finished by now, like at 9:30, but I also know I started a bit later due to these configuration problems I had, so I will stay a bit more until I paint this one. In case you want to stay too, you're welcome to stay. If you need to go, that's fine too. I will try to upload this to my YouTube channel anyway, so the recording will be saved. I know we said we were going to do some clouds. So when doing some clouds, avoid making that the clouds contour the peak of the mountain, because that's not realistic. Often that is not seen as very realistic, because clouds can go behind the peak of the mountain, you know. So try to make a cloud that goes behind of the mountain and not around it. So this will be my cloud that goes behind of the mountain. And also try to make irregular lines. Clouds are very irregular, like their shapes are really okay. Something like that, I would say. I added quite some clouds. And if I forgot, as you can see, I was lifting some of the pigment with my damp brush. You can do that as well. And how you do that, you wet your brush, you dab it on your paper so it's still humid but not wet, and then you see, you pick up paint with this damp brush. When you cannot pick more paint, it's possibly because the brush is too dry and you need to wet it again. And then be careful, because if your paper starts to dry, stop any of this. Try to not do it. I mean, while the paper, try to do it while the paper is wet and not when the paper has dried. Okay, so now I should go over this part, but I want to check if this is dry or not. We can give it some minutes. Let's give it 1 minute, because I don't want to start with this part. I want to start with this part, and it will be done wet on wet. Okay. Yeah, just let's give it some time. I can start already with my clean water to wet everything, because I want to do at least the first layer. I want to do it wet on wet to really make the colors flow. And later we will give more definition. So I'm being very careful when I put water touching the sky. Okay, something like this. Now we'll try to start with the yellow. I liked more the yellow ochre one, so I will use that one. Now the problem is that I have the palette there. Maybe it's more useful if I put it here. Yes. So I'm using yellow ochre from here. I know you can't see it, sorry. Okay. Now I start making some yellow marks with this color, with the yellow ochre. I'm not using a lot of pigment. It's a very diluted version of this yellow ochre. But just make the lines so you understand how the volume is done. Okay. Let's also do something like this. Right now I'm going more freestyle, which means, yes, you don't see me doing the colors that are in the photograph. I'm going for the colors I like. I see most of this part is red, or reddish at least. Okay, while this is still wet, well done. While this is still wet, let's add some red. Red, when I say red, I mean orangey color, you know what I mean. Remember, if you want to make it less vibrant, you can add a blue color, or what I'm doing right now is I'm adding the same yellow ochre to bring it a bit down. So this part we said it was mostly orange. Also, be careful with the reference photo you choose, because you need to think what would happen in real life as well. Sometimes photos are too edited, or not too edited, but you know, like they choose for you which part of the photo is the focal point, which can help, but can also make some things that are not possible. For example, that all the parts of the mountain are illuminated in the same way, or that all the parts of the mountain are with the same definition. Like in this photo, we can see this part with the same definition as this one, while we notice that we want to keep this part more in a second background. You know what I mean? Okay. And I'm afraid of using this. I've continued using this pencil. I want a smaller one. I want this one. Yes, this one. And now I'm trying to bring some light. While this is still wet, I can still pick up some paint. And not only that, I want to add a bit of this green that we talked about before. And because I'm adding too much green, I need to add more yellow. Because I also want to show there are some yellow stripes. Okay, so I will leave that mountain like it is. Let's now go on the foreground a bit more. So I will re-wet this middle mountain here because maybe it's a bit too dry already. And here I want a bit more definition than in the previous mountain. So, shoot, I think there is color going under that. Okay. Under that part of the washi tape. But too late. Too late. Okay, let's try to paint this one with a bit more of definition than the previous one. Maybe darker color. I want here to highlight very much that there is a big yellow part. So I do this like this. I want the yellow part to be very present here. With some green here and there. I think we will be bringing back highlights later. like white highlights because I see some of them on the mountain all the time. In this part completely red, and while this is still wet, I can still bring some white lines, or at least lighter lines, lighter lines, yes. I'm trying to go very, very slowly here because I don't want to, risk it at the beginning because it's easy to go darker, but it's not easy to go lighter. That's why I'm being so cautious here. I try to go as light as I can, and then later maybe we'll add more definition. You know what I mean, right? Okay. Okay. Now let's bring the green here. Oops. To I see that this part is already quite dry. So what I do is, okay, if I do a stroke and it's dry, I try to make the transition with water at least. So which means I try to smooth the lines that are too harsh. But don't worry, because we will add more colors now. So we will add more colors now. I'm not liking that line. You know, I'm trying to break that line. This line, the line that goes with the silhouette of the mountain, I don't like it. So let me try to break it down a bit. So it's more of an organic form, which happens to have a line there. Not really a line I've done. Now I'm picking up some of the water of this area because it was still wet and I don't want it to go more farther in the other mountain. So now I'm adding the yellow colors, yellow ochre. I want to have several different layers of the same color, some of them more lighter, some of them darker, so some texture is also fine because remember this earth, these are rocks, so I know it's looking a bit bleh right now, but bear with me, this is the ugly face. We are traversing it. We are going directly into the ugly face, but that's okay. Okay. I'm trying to do here is to start giving more thought on the first plane, and then the only problem I see in my painting regarding the compared to the photo is that I don't see um, enough ochre, like the yellow color, you know? Why is that? I've decided to fix it. I created a more vibrant version of the yellow I had. So I mixed it with some lemon yellow, the ochre, and that looks a bit better. Also, I'm noticing how this brush doesn't have a lot of water holding, so bear with me through the ugly face. Maybe you already finished. And if you did, I'd love to see what you created for sure. So please show me later. I don't know, take me on Instagram or send me a photo in the community. Whatever you prefer. This side is getting a bit weird, and that's because I don't know what to do with it. This part. Okay, vale. Okay. I think it's not going that bad. I mean, I agree the colors that you see on the camera are a bit too much. But I promise you, like in real life, the color is not so strident. So it's not such a difficult color, such impactful color. I promise you it's not that much. It's more subtle than what you see in the video. Okay, now let's give more definition. Let's go. This part we wanted it to be darker. Okay, if I bring that kind of darkness there, I need to bring it into the foreground more here. So Not so bad. It's not what I had on mind, but it's not so bad, honestly. Don't see it so bad. And this will give us very good practice for the mountain that is coming for Peru, the Vinicunca mountain. I don't know, maybe you've been there or you know about it. It's another rainbow mountain we will be painting at some point. I don't know what else to do, and I think we leave it like this. I don't know what else to do. Probably there's nothing else we can do. So maybe yes to try it out, and I mean just trying things out here all the time, right? Maybe we put here some transversal lines. Okay, I don't want to do anything else because I think I'm overworking it already. So I will just go for it and remove the washi tape. Et voila! Let me zoom out so you can see more or less what we painted. From far away you can better see that effect of background foreground. Sometimes I just leave it like this for a few days and then I come back and see what's missing, if there's something else I need to do. For now, what I will do, because I forgot to do those, is to take a very, very small uh, brush and do the background, those background small trees, if you remember, like here. But the problem is that now, because this is very, very much in the background, I need to make them really, really not saturated. So come back. They can't be very saturated, otherwise the focal point will be there. And no, what we did in this painting is that the focal point are the lines that are here next to us. So if you see that these dots are too distracting, we'll do something else. 1 second. Just believe me first, and now we'll do something else. Okay, so that's good. Okay. And now, to make them less important, we can take really, really light orange color and go over it a little bit. You'll see they lose the definition they had and still be there somehow on the background. Okay, I will not touch it anymore. Ta-da! Thank you very much for staying with me until so late. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something today. I hope you were inspired by these colorful mountains. Don't forget to sign your painting. I will put the date as well. And now I'm writing mountain 5 and I put the name Zanghye National Park. So really a big thank you for coming here and being with me, and I will share the results on Instagram, and I hope you share with me your results as well if you want. I'll probably in these days take a look again at it and maybe add more whites or more darks, so you will see it. But let's leave it like this, let's sleep on it, and we'll come back to it later. I hope you have a great rest of the week and hopefully see you soon. Bye bye. Thank you.